When you think about historical figures who still have a real impact on their nations, there are a few that come to mind.
Oh, absolutely. So many all around the world.
Today, we're going to dive into the life and the legacy of one of those figures, India's Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. I think it's safe to say that his name still resonates really deeply there.
It does. It does.
And we're using some of the historical texts that you shared with us to really kind of get into like what made him such a pivotal figure. So maybe you can just set the stage for us.
Well, Shivaji, he founded the Maratha Empire, right?
Right.
But he's more than just like a historical footnote. I mean, people still talk about his military genius, his approach to governance, his commitment to justice. Like, he's still inspiring people today.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Is extract, like, what are those key elements that make his life so relevant hundreds of years later?
Yeah, absolutely.
And, we've got a lot of sources here. We've got details of his life, his achievements, like all the big things he accomplished, and then also like the core values that kind of guided him. So maybe we can just start in the beginning.
Sure.
We know he was born in 1630 at Shivneri Fort. What was his early life like?
Well, his early life was really foundational, I think. I mean, the influence of his mother, 𝐦𝐨𝐫𝐸, it was huge, right? Like she really instilled in him a deep understanding of, Indian history, the epics, that really shaped, his moral framework. It gave him this like strong sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And, even when he was young, you could see these leadership qualities.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and he underwent really rigorous training in like warfare and administration.
Wow. So they knew they had something special.
Yeah, it's just fascinating, like how these early influences, they really show up later on in what he did.
Well, and they showed up early, right? I mean, he was 16 when he captured Torner Fort.
It's wild.
That's a pretty bold move for a teenager. That's like a real statement of intent, like, I'm here to carve out my own territory.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then soon after that, he captures like these other key forts,
Oh, yeah.
Purandar, Kantana, Rajgad.
It's almost like watching like the first brushstrokes of like a major historical painting.
Yeah.
You see it starting to take shape. But it wasn't just about seizing territory, though, right?
No, exactly. It was how he did it.
Right.
That was so significant. I mean, he basically pioneered this military strategy that was perfect for the landscape of the Deccan.
Okay.
It was guerrilla warfare.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Ganimi Kaba. And it wasn't about like going head to head with these huge armies, right?
Sure.
It was about speed, surprise.
Yeah.
He used the terrain to his advantage. It was more about like strategic agility than brute force.
That's really interesting. And that's something that's like really become part of his legacy and how people remember him, right?
Yeah.
Is this innovative military mind.
Yeah.
But he wasn't all about the battlefield, was he?
No, not at all.
I mean, he established the Ashtapradhan Mandal, the Council of 8 Ministers. That seems to me like a pretty sophisticated understanding of how to run a government, how to set up an administration.
Oh, yeah, totally. And it wasn't just for show. It was like he had this very structured approach to administration. Like, This was a guy who understood the importance of order and efficiency.
Wow.
Another thing that's really striking is like his respect for all religions. He was really dedicated to making sure there was justice for all of his subjects, no matter what their background was. I mean, that was unusual for the time.
It was.
And it created this sense of loyalty and stability within his empire, which was, still growing.
Right. And then there's that key moment where it really like solidifies his position, right?
Yeah.
And that's the coronation as Chhatrapati.
That's right.
In 1674 at Rajarshi Fort. This wasn't just like, oh, let's have a party.
No. This was a declaration.
It was a statement.
Exactly. Like he was formally establishing Hindavi Swarajya, which is self-rule.
Yeah.
And it was basically asserting Maratha sovereignty.
Wow.
Like this was a turning point in the history of the region. It was a huge symbol of independence.
Huge. And he also seemed to have a real understanding of something that a lot of like land-based empires didn't.
Right.
And that's the importance of naval power.
Oh, absolutely.
So he built a strong Maratha navy, strategic sea forts like Sindhudurg.
Yeah. Like he had this very comprehensive approach to protecting his realm. He thought about it all.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But of course his rise wasn't without conflict, right?
Of course not.
I mean, particularly with the Mughal Empire.
Under Aurangzeb.
Aurangzeb. And there's that story, it's a kind of a famous story, of his escape from Agra in 1666, where he hides in sweet boxes. Have you heard about this?
Oh, it's a classic. It's like, it just shows how resourceful and daring he was. I mean, even when he was captured, he was still thinking strategically.
It's a really captivating story.
Oh.
But ultimately, his impact, it endures.
It does.
He's a national hero. He represents Hindu pride, justice, and this really fierce resistance against oppression.
And if we think about the bigger picture, his legacy, it inspired so many freedom fighters that came after him. And his values like self-rule, respect for women, religious tolerance, good governance, they're still so relevant today. I mean, all these institutions and landmarks that are named after him, it's a constant reminder of his influence.
Absolutely. So really, when we boil it all down, Shivaji's legacy, it comes from these innovative military strategies, his effective and just administration, and his complete, unyielding commitment to self-rule.
Yeah.
He's a symbol of resistance and national pride. It's really fascinating. But it does make me wonder, thinking about how much he emphasized self-rule and justice.
Yeah.
I wonder how those principles might help us think about some of the challenges we're facing today in governance, or how to create more equitable societies, both in India and around the world.
Yeah, it really does make you think about the timelessness of certain leadership values
It does.
and how they keep resonating.
It really does.
Yeah,
Fascinating stuff.
absolutely.